Hey guys, how you doing? Right here again. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. Remember to follow me, guys, on Facebook. I got an RC community page, Nitro Kyosho, all one word, will bring you there. YouTube stuff is linked there also. This is just my collection of goblins I wanted to share with you guys. This is the Sab Goblin 570 back here. This is a model that can run 6 or 12 cell. I got this from my buddy Alan at www.rcgalore.com. This goblin here also, this is the 500. That was my first goblin. That also came from rcgalore.com. And the one in the front here is my latest build, the 380. That one came from Heli Direct. And I also have another one, the red and black kit, that I'm in the process of building. That came from my buddy Alan at www.rcgalore.com. But just wanted to share this collection with you guys. But other than that, I wanted to answer some questions. Because one thing I get kind of hassled with a lot is, you know, videos that were put out in the past. Now guys, this industry changes. I don't have no cheat sheets today, so I'm going off the top of my head. This industry has changed a lot just in the last few years. And somebody was hassling me. They said I had put out a video about 450s or something, and they said, you know, do you feel, now that you have these big machines, you made videos that said you'd never go past the 450 size or a 500, and, you know, what do you got to say about that now? Well, guys, when I started learning, things have changed dramatically. Okay, there was no MCPX, there was no 130X, there was no 180 CFX by blade, there was no 120 SR, there wasn't even an MSR, and simulators really weren't that popular. So a lot of the stuff in my older videos, you know, I hate to rehash by making a new video over and over and over about different things, but you know, things have changed a lot in the last 6-7 years, especially with batteries and brushless motors, and the list goes on and on. So this video is primarily going to be for new people getting into the hobby. A lot of tips. Now, a lot of people don't have respect for the Blade Helicopter Company. They don't think that they're the quality of the other companies, the Mikados and the Aligns and the Goblins and, you know, all the other brands out there, the Synergies. But the one thing good about the Blade Company, guys, is that they help you get into the hobby the right way. Starting out with a coaxial, you know, a 4-channel like an MCX2, and then moving to a 120 SR, and then to a, you know, MCPX, and then to a 180. Now, what I tell people, if you don't want to spend all that money jumping from helicopter to helicopter, you can get yourself a simulator, all right? And you can learn that way. You can end up spending a lot of money buying one helicopter, another, and the list goes on. But the one good thing about getting a helicopter from like the Blade Company, guys, when you're learning, is that it doesn't break the bank. If you get an MCX2 with a controller for $89, you know, and you basically you see if you have interest in the hobby, if you like the hobby, are you going to stay with it? Is it a fad? Is it an addiction that you're going to grow and buy more and more? So it really isn't a bad thing to start out like that, okay? Opposed to a lot of guys will go into a hobby shop for the first time, and the hobby shop owner will sucker them into buying a T-Rex 700. Telling them, well, they're easier to fly because they're bigger blades and they're easier to balance. But they don't tell them the dangers of them and all the other stuff that goes along with them. Okay? They can be very, very scary and very intimidating. I would have not wanted a T-Rex 700 in my yard when I was just learning. Especially with fly-barless units, guys. If something goes wrong, it can really lead to disaster. Okay? And if you're going to have somebody that's going to be there with you, an experienced pilot that's going to hold your hand through the whole process, and you want to start with something like that, then that's a whole different story. And that's what I mean, guys. There's a lot of avenues in this hobby to go down. And there's a lot of right ways to do things, and there's a lot of wrong ways to do things, and there's a lot of ways that get people killed and seriously injured. So, in my advice, guys, if I was starting out in this hobby today, present day, the first thing I think I would do is go out and get myself probably a 4-channel coaxial helicopter. Alright, now this is all based upon you being by yourself, what I'm telling you, having no trainer, no knowledge, nobody there to help you or hold your hand. I would get an MCX-2 by the Blade Company, and I would learn how to fly a 4-channel in the house. I would learn all the orientations, and at that point, once you get through that, if you feel that you really enjoy the hobby and you really like it and you think it's something you want to progress with, then I would invest in a simulator. Now simulators, there's Real Flight, there's Phoenix, there's new companies that have popped up. That is going to be the same deal, guys. When you ask somebody about a helicopter brand, everyone's going to have a different opinion on it. So you can search out. Me personally, I use Phoenix. I think it's very realistic. Tell somebody else that, they're going to say Real Flight's better. So personal preference, guys. You can try some of them out or set up in the stores, and you can make your own decision of what feels pretty good to you. They all hook up through a CD, through a home-based computer. Most of them come with controllers, and you can be on your way with learning how to fly all kinds of airplanes, helicopters, and this and that. Now, beyond learning that, guys, there's a whole other aspect to the hobby, and that is understanding LiPo batteries, properly charging them, properly storing them, not draining them past the point they're not supposed to be drained, taking care of them, buying chargers, programming chargers. The transmitters for these guys today have become like a small computer. You have to have the transmitter programmed properly. You have to understand pitch curves and throttle curves and all that stuff. You have to program the ESCs. You have to do wiring, soldering. And now with fly-barless controllers, some will program off of the unit, some will program through the computer. Those can be tricky. Those can raise eyebrows and drive people crazy. And with the potential, the danger of fly-barless units, if you miss one thing or don't set something up right, it can lead to disaster. Whenever I set up a unit, no matter how good I think I am or how many times I've done a Beast X or this or that, I'll triple check it. And I found that I've left things out or made mistakes. So there's always that potential. But there's a lot to know in the hobby, guys. If you can find people, a local, good quality hobby shop to deal with, or find people at the field that are experienced pilots and flyers and can help you out, that's a good thing. I help a lot of people out, guys. I have a lot of videos on YouTube, but I can only do so much from my chair and being in front of the camera of helping you. I can't be right there along the way to hold your hand. I wish I could. But a lot of things, like I said, have changed, so my opinions in the hobby have changed. Things that I have said in the past, present, future are always going to be changing. And really, you know, helicopter size, guys, is really a matter of personal preference. Whether it becomes an addiction and you want all the different sizes, you know, realistically, I could have been happy my entire life flying around 450s, but you get caught up in the hype. You want to see what the hype is about. You buy bigger machines, 700s, 500s, 570s, all these different ones, and you end up with a nice collection of different flyers. So really, you know, helicopter size is personal preference. You know, if you want my real true opinion, I think that once you get to a 500 size, anything after that, now I have 700s and 600 size and all that. Not a drastic difference in handling, okay? So a lot of pilots I've talked to, pro pilots, have told me in confidence they feel a 500 is the ultimate size helicopter. For power, for size, for balance, for visibility. But we all still continue to buy 700s and bigger machines, so. There's a lot of brands out there. There's Sab Goblin, there's Mikado, there's Blade, there's Align, there's Synergy, TSA, and the list goes on. A lot of it is personal preference, visual, what you look at and what you find appealing to your eye. They're all good brands, the brands I mentioned, but it really comes down to what you like. And it's definitely easier if you stick with one brand. You get to know that brand inside and out, and it really makes it a lot easier working on it and keeping your parts list down of having 10 different brand helicopters. There's Gaui too, is another good company. I better not leave that out or my friend Mike will kill me. But other than that, guys, as far as my tips for beginners, those would be the avenues I would go down: 4-channel coaxials and simulators. And then after that, after like a Blade MCX2, you could jump to like a 120 SR. Or if you feel confident enough on a simulator, you can go up to an MCX 2 brushless, or then even a 180 CFX by Blade. Now, if you have somebody with you as a trainer, he's going to be with you every minute, every step of the way. He's going to program your flybarless unit, teach you about controllers, teach you about how to battery safety, everything, and be right there with you. Then, you know, I might consider going right for from an MCX to a simulator to a 450 type helicopter. Maybe guys would say go to a 500 or 600 and this and that, easy orientation and everything, but that also is going to come down to the person, guys. That is going to depend. Can this guy afford to fix a 500 size or 600 if he puts it in the ground? Or is his budget more geared towards a 450 size? So there's a ton of opinions in this hobby, guys. I mean, there's an endless supply of opinions on. And everybody you meet at a club is going to tell you their helicopter's better than yours, their flybarless unit's better than yours, their battery brand, their servos, their speed, everything is. So it's a competition hobby, and if you go down the flight line at IRCHA and talk to 50 different pilots, you're probably going to get 50 different opinions. So these are my opinions, guys. Take them for what they are, but that's how what I feel about the hobby and the little tips I just gave you. And a lot of it just really depends on your wallet. If you got a friend in the hobby, who's going to help you, local hobby shops, and the list goes on. So those are some tips for new pilots getting in. This is my Goblin collection, guys. I hope you like it. I want to thank my buddy Alan at rcgalore.com and my buddy Long Vu at Healy Direct also. And, we'll talk to you soon, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.